Welcome to Timeball Games. I'm ELD, here to ask you for help in growing the channel. When we reach 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber, so be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Timeball Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Aaron on an Imperial painter list versus Pyle Souza on a Grixis pile. We'll see exactly what type of spice he has in there. Black, blue, red, giving you some of the best options in the history of Magic, and of course Legacy going all the way back to the beginning. Cards like Lightning Bolt hold up, even though they are over 25 years old, alongside some of the more powerful new options. Thoughtseize, first printed back in Lorwyn, been a staple of the format ever since, and that's going to grab Karn and give Pyle a better understanding of exactly how to play the rest of his threats and answers now that he knows the texture of Aaron's hand. Goblin Welder, a pretty resilient card when you're trying to disrupt a artifact-based strategy. Kind of makes a lot of the cards quasi-uncounterable, as you can weld out a spare Lotus Petal or artifact land for whatever high-value card got countered. And fatally pushing that Goblin Welder before it gets out of hand. Imperial Recruiter, going to get a body and a Painter Servant. That's going to stop Edict effects. Now Ponder. Liliana's Triumph. Angarth's Rampage. Just a couple of target player sacrificing a creature effects that can be thwarted by this Imperial Recruiter. That 1/1 body not necessarily as important for attacking, though if this becomes enough of a train wreck, it may actually end up mattering. If someone's going to get beaten down with 1/1s, I would tend to guess it would be the Painter deck, as Baleful Strix does occasionally finish the job for these type of control strategies. Painter definitely looking to get things done faster than that. And it looks like a Goblin, the new one from Modern Horizons, Engineer, I believe it is. Going to go get a cheap artifact, put it into the bin, and then it also has the ability to weld, similar to Goblin Welder. Painter Servant going to the graveyard, perhaps indicating that he's already got the Grindstone in hand. Snapcaster Mage. We've got a Fetch and a Fatal Push, which is going to take out the Painter Servant. Aaron without too many artifacts here, though if he's got the Grindstone, he can potentially activate it and then weld it out. This could be very bad. And that is going to do it. So yeah, that's a trick many new pilots will miss. So what happened there is that Grindstone is activated, and then Aaron, without passing priority, welds out the Grindstone for the Painter Servant. Once that resolves, you go ahead and let the Grindstone's ability resolve, and there's a Painter Servant in play. So that's actually going to be lethal, as your opponent has to mill their entire library and lose during their next draw step. Absolutely devastating synergy between those two cards. I think it's either legal or not legal in Commander. I know that doesn't narrow it down, but it's definitely a point of contention or concern for the Commander community. I think they actually just made it legal. But yeah, it's quite powerful. Not difficult to pull off. Super low in terms of the mana cost. And I'm not actually sure why there's not more Painter in the metagame. It's a pretty solid combo, and there's more than one way to build it. You can go mono red, as we're seeing here. There's blue-red versions. I think there's potentially Thopter Foundry builds as well. Whole lot of possibilities. Goblin Welder. Not as safe in Legacy as he was in Vintage once upon a time. At one point, Vintage had very few creatures, so Goblin Welder kind of enjoyed a unusual place as basically untouchable once he landed. Vintage at one point was mostly just fought on the stack, and man, you'd land a Goblin Welder versus a control deck, and it was a problem. There really weren't able to stop you from welding in a Mindslaver, just taking their turn. Those were the good old days. We're talking early 2000s. Mirrodin first came out. We often skip the mulligans here. We're not taking a trip down memory lane. If Aaron... No, he is actually going to keep this. If he was going to mulligan, we'd go ahead and skip out the rest of the shuffling. But let's see what he can do here with 6 against a deck that's really based off of 2-for-1 trades. He's going to want something pretty fast. Scalding Tarn. Bloodstained Mire on the other side. This Baleful Strix coming in off of a Badlands and an Underground Sea. Plateau is enabling this Enlightened Tutor. And grabbing a Blood Moon. That's a potential must counter. He does have the Force of Will in hand. And that doesn't really feel too bad. Oh, this might have a Pyroblast backup. And it does. That Lotus Petal. Pushing through the Blood Moon. Oh, but he's got the Swamp like an absolute savage. So he's got black and red mana. If he finds blue, this Blood Moon won't even be much of a hindrance. If anything, he'd probably be happy with the fact that it's shutting down the City of Traders from being 4 mana. Got a seasoned Pyromancer now. Unless that card doesn't do what I thought it did. I thought he was supposed to get some bodies off of that. Angarth's Rampage. Oh, I guess he discarded 2 lands. Each non-land gets you a 1/1. So we've got a Imperial Recruiter grabbing another Imperial Recruiter. Just looking to start grinding. Yeah, that Seasoned Pyromancer discarding lands there is disastrous. Liliana's Triumph taking out an Imperial Recruiter who goes to get another Imperial Recruiter, and we'll see who's going to be able to be the grindier of the 2 decks. Just 1/1s duking it out. We'll see if my earlier forecast ends up being accurate. Another 1-power creature. And at this point, pumping the brakes. Both Imperial Recruiters turn sideways. Baleful Strix trades in for one of them. And now this Imperial Recruiter, this Painter Servant landing and a Grindstone. Fatal Push gets hit with a Pyroblast. And that is going to do it. So Painter taking out Grixis. Pyroblast on a Fatal Push, proving to be the back-breaking play there as Painter Servant showing some tricks. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.